Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, continuing my walk around the Sussex border walk. This is part 4 on a very windy and grey day. I'm not particularly keen to be out on such horrible weather, but never mind, we are progressing this journey because I know it's going to take forever. And actually already in the comments people have said, oh my god Richard, you'll have to give it up because it's far too long a journey and you'll be putting too much diesel in the van and all of this. Well, hopefully I can film several of these walks or sections in a day so I don't have to spend too much money, but I'm also hoping that if you enjoy this you'll support my venture. So where am I at the moment? Well, I'm still just in West Worthing, between West Worthing and Goring. I'm about a mile and a bit from the pier and we have the seaside behind me. But I am here by Marine Arcade and Marine Gardens, which I'm going to go in and have a little look around. Now, I used to come here as a kid. My parents used to come down to Worthing very frequently. My grandparents used to live down here on East Worthing. But we would come here because this area was a pitching, like a putting, that was the word, not pitching, putting green. And you've got this sort of almost Georgian style little, I don't know what was in there. I think that there's loos in there and a restroom and that sort of thing. And you've got the pitching green round here with a sort of very 1920s looking, I think that's a rebuild and not a genuine 1920s apartment or flats on the opposite side. And you would do this. On the other side we've got bowls, Worthing Bowls and Heen, what is it, the Marine Gardens Bowl Club, which you can join. But also there's tea rooms, and tea rooms, oh, we will know from people like J.B. Priestley and H.V. Morton, who was writing in the 1930s. This has been set up and laid out in the 1930s, that tea and tea rooms was very much the thing for people travelling around the country, particularly coming down to coastal resorts or anywhere that had something a little fancy, like Bramber Castle had its tea rooms and all of that, just a little north from the coast here. Yes, I think that's right. You've got the toilets at either side, and then the centre bit I think is the main pavilion. That was the word I was looking for, pavilion. It's a very lovely mock Georgian thing. I do like it. And of course in a better day, when you're not dodging the rain, which I have been, it's very beautiful, and the flowers here are quite exquisite. I do like it. When my dad was suffering from dementia, he lived in Goring, and I used to bring him to the tea rooms here, and he could watch the bowls. I don't think he ever played bowls as such, but he used to love to sit and just watch them. It would keep him going. And I think ordinarily the tea rooms are open all year round, although this is a somewhat different year than most. Nice to see that there is actually a little bit of colour in some of the flowers here on this very windy, blustery day, although the sun is desperately trying to break through. But even so, that doesn't seem to stop the Worthing, Goring crowd from just coming out. This is a great place just to come and sit, bring the kids, bring your parents, and just chill. Looks like the rain is just thundering down, which is going to make a right pain of my equipment here. It's not terribly waterproof. Anyway, this gives me a chance, whilst I just shelter underneath these fir trees, to credit Cave Wetter, one of my viewers, who reminded me, well, not so much reminded me, showed me something interesting that I didn't know anything about, and that was the Heen baths. Down Heen Road, which is just not too far from where I was in yesterday's programme, there were, he called them underground swimming pool, and I thought, oh, this is very interesting, I'll have to look up that. But he actually sent me a link to it, and apparently it started again in the late 19th century. They opened up this wonderful looking Gothic building, Venetian Gothic I think they call it, and there were some swimming baths in there. There's some pictures that are still extant. Also in 1873 or something, there was a roller skating rink there as well, which is fantastic. So I looked at that, that looked great, and it was running until 1973, and then I thought, let's see what's there now, and it's a great big block of flats, unfortunately. So again, these wonderful old buildings just disappearing, our heritage vanishing. Unfortunately, the rain isn't. I think I might have to head back to the van. Oh, it's nice to have the van, I can tell you. Well, this is one of the problems when you're out filming. Of course, you're going to be contending with the weather all the time, which is not the most ideal thing. But thank goodness I have my travelling office, if you like, to take refuge in. And I'm filming in the winter, of course, and I'm trying to put these videos out on a daily basis. And I knew that the first few videos would be, for me, part of trying to work out how to do this walk around Sussex. And there's going to be days when I am going to have to either abandon them or be gaps because the weather will be just bad. I'm using a very expensive gimbal. I've got a DSLR camera on it. None of these are really ideal for wet weather conditions. I may have to use my GoPro and other little bits and pieces. So this is a good learning curve for when it's raining. I'm back on the windy coast once more. I mentioned in the last episode about the beach huts, and of course all along the seafront in Worthing are these wonderful white iconic beach huts, and here they are. My dad had one. He lived in Goring, and it's just a little bit further up, and he had one of these beach huts, and then in the storm of 1987 he discovered that it, like so many of the others, like broken teeth, they had broken off their moorings here, and he found them on the green sward, which is a bit further that way. We'll probably see it in another episode. But they are very iconic, and I do like the beach huts. It's lovely to sit in them, and on a day even like this, when eventually the sun starts to peek out, you can be sheltered, and it's nice. Leaving the beach huts behind, which of course symbolises very much old Worthing, if you like, or the old seafront, we come down to the much more modern establishments here that have been going up in the last 20 years or so. And as I visited my father, who, as I say, lived in Goring, I've often walked along here and seen all these crazy things coming up. And I wanted to go down this way to, I think it's called Irene Road, before you get into Goring proper, I suppose, where we sort of leave West Worthing at the George V Avenue. And down at Irene Road, I'm indebted to Lee Lawson again, as it so happens, who said, oh, you may be interested if you're passing that way, that in 1996 I was watching a bungalow being demolished, and inside the bungalow, as part of the structure, I imagine, were these two old tram cars that were taken out. She took a photograph. Thank you so much. These it's amazing. I mean, that's so reminiscent of how Shoreham was back in its day. Many of the houses were just sort of erected from old railway carriages and tram cars and built around. So it's astonishing to see that these relics are still in some of the properties. It's brilliant. I'm rather hoping that this is a bit of the old genuine wall that was here before all this modern flats and stuff were here. But as I remember it, somewhere here there used to be this wooden building. I think it was a chandler's or something, and I seem to have the words Baloo in my head. If you remember that, I would love to know what it was. Maybe it was a cafe or something, and then all of this modern development came in. Well, I'm actually now on Irene Road. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm not 100% certain. But it's a very short little road that goes up to George V Avenue, which, if you follow that northwards, takes you up to the Goring Parade. So I am actually slowly getting somewhat westwards on this. On the other side of the road here is Sea Place. Now, there was a farm, if you look on old maps, there was a farm there, Sea Place Farm, and actually the owner of that Sea Place Farm, William Oliver, he was responsible for I think building a farmhouse in 1810 at a place called Cortlands. Well, that might be the perfect place to start the next episode. But that's it for this one. Sorry about the weather. That's one of the perils of this country at this time of year, but hey ho. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, follow, like and subscribe, and I will continue to bring you these videos. You can of course become a patron and support what I do. I will need to put diesel in the van as I get further afield. But until next time, thanks for watching. Bye bye.